In this video, we're going to be taking a deep dive into what I call the 5 points of shooting. Firstly, our viewpoint, then our hold point and our kill point. But then I'll also be looking at why we point at the clay when we're viewing targets, and finally, where to point our feet. So when we're in the stand viewing the target before shooting, the first thing we're looking for is our viewpoint, also known as the visual pickup point. This is where we first see the clay. This might be at the trap, or if we can't see the trap, perhaps a little bit further out, or if we can see the trap but it's very blurry at first, we might need to hold our eyes just a little bit further out. I'll be discussing this in detail further on. The hold point, where we hold or point the gun when we call pull. The kill point, also known as break point, where we are pointing when we pull the trigger. This is also where we see the clay the best, i.e. the biggest and or the clearest. Please note this isn't always the same. The biggest would obviously be when it's closest, but it might be doing more than one thing, making it slightly more difficult than it would be to break at a further distance away from us. So let's look at why we actually point at a clay when viewing them, or also known as a show pair if we were in a competition. Firstly, using our hand gives us a more accurate idea of the speed of the clay. Secondly, it gives us a more accurate line of the clay. It also gives us better focus on any outstanding features when we are assessing our view, hold and kill points. For example, any trees or branches, etc., to get the line. Point 4, it is more accurate against some backgrounds. For example, if the clay is right above us and all we see is sky, it can sometimes be slightly bending to the left or the right, and if we don't use our hand, we wouldn't get to see that. Also, a dark clay against a dark background can also fool us. It can give us a false representation of how fast the clay is going. So if we use our hand and point at it, we get a far better impression. And finally, we can test our estimated hold point is correct. For example, if we're holding out at what we estimate to be halfway, if the clay beats us, we know our hold point is too early. And the final point that we'll be looking at is how and where we point our feet. During this video, I'm hoping to give you a little few pointers that I've picked up along the way, which will then help you if you go on to look at other videos from instructors that are online. I'll put a link to some good videos and instructors in the description, so please help yourself and look at those anytime you can. The first thing we're going to look at before we even view the targets is to discuss the trap itself. Looking at this slow-mo video of this trap, we can see that it is tilting backwards, so we know that the clay will be released in an upwards direction as the red arrow shows. Let's have a look at the targets from inside the stand. When I view the targets, I like to do it as in a competition scenario. So if it's an on-report pair, I only get to see one pair of targets. Or if it's a simo pair, then I get to see 2 pairs of targets. Approaching this stand, the first thing I'm looking at is the menu, which tells me I have a simultaneous pair of left to right standards. So as it's a crossing target, I'm imagining that I'll probably be killing them pretty much straight in front of me. The next thought is, where are the traps? Can I see both of them? If I can't, when I view the targets, where will my visual pickup points be? Can I see one or both traps, or neither, in which case I'm looking for something else to show me where the clays are coming from such as a branch of the tree. So now I'm looking at the traps. The first one that I can tell is the left of these two traps, and then I'm looking further round to the left to see the other one, and I can see that it's here, and I'm looking at the angle that the trap is set at. This will give me a rough idea of the line and the height of the clays. I can then assess my viewpoints, then look at the kill point and estimate a 50% hold point between the trap and the kill point. Looking at this second one, I doubt that I'll be able to see this trap when I'm actually in the shooting position, so I will be looking for a branch to see where the clay is coming from, which will be my second viewpoint. Let's have a look at this in slow motion now. So I can see the first trap, and I can see that the clay comes cleanly off that, so I know that my first viewpoint will be looking at that trap. Then the second, the bee bird, definitely can't see the trap, but I will be looking at this branch on this tree as my second viewpoint. So after shooting the first, the A bird, my second move will be going straight back to the viewpoint with my eyes to pick up the bee bird. Moving on to this stand, we'll be looking at the B and C targets, so the right to left rabbit, followed by the left to right crosser. As you can see on the left to right crosser, my hold point was far too late. If you watch my hand, you'll see that I'm following the clay and it's actually going in the downward motion, which is not where I want to be shooting it. I want to be shooting it whilst it's still pretty level. So my estimated hold point was far too late. So you'll see initially I shoot it with a better hold point, but then I'll be showing you the effect of having that later hold point. So this just goes to prove that you should be prepared to use anything for your hold points and kill points. Don't be put off by any obstructions whatsoever. Further on, you'll see that I'm actually shooting into a branch at a kill point. Things like these are little tricks that some course setters do use to try and make us shoot where we feel comfortable rather than where we should. There is a big difference. This A curling away target is another sneaky one. Because of the background and a dark clay, as I mentioned, it can put us off, and the kill, hold and viewpoints were all very late on this because of the background. I also had to think out of the box and do a slightly different method on this one because the target was so late to shoot at. Using a swing through, which would have been my chosen method normally, is a little bit difficult, so I used a method called the intercept, as you will see here. Here I'm just demonstrating each clay's line for you. The curling away, as you can see, the background covers the target when it first comes out. Then the B is the rabbit. I can see the trap, but I can't see the clay exiting the trap, so my viewpoint will be a little bit out from the trap. And then finally the right to left crosser. Let's just take a look at this rabbit. When it comes out of the viewpoint, it seems to be travelling very quickly, but slows down very quickly as well, which is very important to remember. We only need the speed of the clay at the kill point. Now, looking at this rabbit, you can see, like I said, it slows down very quickly, and it's actually only travelling probably 25 to 30 yards before it's almost running out of steam. Hopefully you saw there, it had almost stopped by the time it goes out of view. Now, as I previously mentioned about shooting into a branch, we're looking at this clay, the right to left crosser, and we've got 3 examples here. 2 I'm shooting roughly at the branch, but then the middle video is worth looking at because the clay comes out at a slightly different line, which I am prepared for all the time. But as you can see, the first move was a slight move upwards to get onto the line of the clay. This section is all about our eyes. So on this left to right looper, I want you to look where the viewpoint is. Imagine you're holding the gun at the hold point, and then we're going to kill it at the kill point. I don't know about you, but as a newcomer to shooting, I found that almost all of the clays seemed really fast at first. This is because we look in the wrong place. Now here's a little exercise that I want you to do, and hopefully this will work and you will see where we go wrong. So firstly, I want you to look at this target where I'm initially showing the viewpoint to be. Then when you look at the viewpoint at the higher level, where it's just above the trees, hopefully you will see that the clay seems a lot slower and that you can focus better on it. Now I want you to look at my eyes, and you will see that they go to the viewpoint, so they aren't looking directly over the gun. Hopefully you will see that my eyes move across from the barrel over to the viewpoint, ready to pick up the target. Now we come to talk about foot position. There are various different methods that different instructors teach, but my 2 favourite are the 12 and 2, where we point the front foot towards the kill point, or as you will see, the other one is to draw a line between our front and back foot towards the kill point. First tip is to use the stand to your advantage. You don't have to stand in the middle of the stand. If you are a right-handed shooter, you will find that a right to left is an easier shot than a left to right, and obviously vice versa for a left-handed shooter. So, for example, here you will see both left to right shots as a pair. So I stand to the left of the stand, and also I have a right to left rabbit followed by a left to right midi. The left to right being the harder shot, I choose to stand to the left, which gives me more time at the kill point. And now here's another video where we're going to analyse the hold point. At first it looks good, but I knew when shooting it that it was rushed, which made the kill point late because the hold point was late. So as you will see, I moved the hold point further over to the left above the post, and this made the shot far more comfortable and more successful. And this clip is to demonstrate the importance of going from your kill point of the first target to move your gun back to the hold point and your eyes back to the viewpoint for the second target. Do this as smoothly and efficiently as you can. And finally, don't be a creep. It's very easy to go what they call hunting with the gun when you are looking for the viewpoint and your gun automatically goes with you. Try your hardest not to do that. You want to keep the hold point at exactly the same place as best you can.